Hey, good morning, everyone. I decided to do different. The last few videos, lives I've done from my computer, and I really like the way my camera looks on that. So, today I'm doing it from my phone. So I want to welcome you. I want to tell you to enjoy your lunchtime. I am. I've got my fueling, my caramel macchiato, which I love. And my cup's a little smaller than what I usually use, so I'm going to have two of them today from the same packet. Yay. Uh, but this keeps, this is one way I have my energy and feel so good most of the time. And I say most of the time because even though I'm on a health journey, I am still susceptible to the viruses and the things that go around. And this change in weather, the heat, our electric heat is just drying me out. But you know what? I'm blessed. I have heat, and I'm not going to focus on the negative aspects like drying out sinuses and things because I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So, as you know, most of you, I am a health coach, and I chose to coach because I've had such a wonderful experience on my own health journey that I want to pay it forward. I want you to know how valuable you are, and just I want you to be in the best health that you possibly can be because God desires for you to be healthy, and I have no doubt about that. So much of our physical health, our weight, our energy levels, our sleep patterns, how we hydrate, so much of that comes from our mindset. Um, it's in, we learn these habits. We all have habits, some bad, some good. So a lot of us have habits of disease. I did. I had a lot of habits of disease. And so I have been on this journey now 7 months. I've been working on my mindset. I've been changing, transforming those habits of disease into habits of health. And I can see the blessings and the benefits of it in myself. 5 years cancer free, praise the Lord. But the first part of this year, when I was almost 5 years cancer free, I still felt like I was having chemo because I was operating off a chemo brain. My cells in my body were remembering what it was like to have chemo, and they were reproducing from that level. And so I could barely go from the bed to the sofa. It was a real struggle for me to do daily tasks, just housework. And, and I was like, this is not acceptable. I fought hard to beat stage 3 colon cancer. I fought hard to beat that so that I could live. And this is not living. And so I knew there were changes that I had to make in order to live the life I wanted to live. So I researched several different programs and went off of everyone's testimonials, and I chose the program that I'm currently doing. I have my health coach, and I love her so much, and the whole community. It's a community that helps us stay accountable, that encourages us on the hard days, so you're not doing this alone. And this isn't about a diet. Weight loss is an added benefit if you have weight to lose, but it's not a diet. Diets are not maintainable. Good health is maintainable. You're able to maintain it year after year after year. Hey, Craig, thanks for joining me. Anthony, I'm so glad y'all are here. Please share this with your friends. So in doing some research on mindsets and different things yesterday, I came across an ongoing study from Harvard University. And what it is Harvard University has a study of adult development. This study has been ongoing for 75 years. One of the longest ongoing studies that is out there, if not the longest. So what did they do? They started out tracking 724 men. They asked them about their work life, their home life, their health, and they didn't know how their story was going to turn out. So, in 1938, they started tracking two groups of men. The first group started the study as sophomores in Harvard University. They ended up graduating, and many of them went to war because their graduation happened during that 1930s war. Approximately 60 of the original men that started this study are still alive and in their 90s now. The second group was a group of young men, boys, from Boston's poorest neighborhoods. They were some of the most troubled, they were from some of the most troubled and disadvantaged families in Boston of the 1930s. And many of them didn't even have running water in their homes, hot or cold. They had life hard. All of these, both groups of these young men, were given interviews, they were given medical exams, and the researchers even went into their homes and interviewed their parents. So then they grew up. When these men grew up, some became factory workers and lawyers. Some were bricklayers and doctors. One was even president of the United States. Some of them developed alcoholism. A few of them schizophrenia. Some climbed the social ladder from the bottom all the way to the top. And some men made that journey in the opposite direction. They went from the top to the bottom. They knew what it was like to be at rock bottom. So one of the lead researchers currently on this study said the clearest message that they received is good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. Good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. I'm going to say it one more time because it's worth repeating. Good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. Now pause the video for just a moment. Examine the relationships in your life. Are they making you happier and healthier? What is your part in these relationships? Are you making the other people in these relationships happier and healthier? Are you adding value to their lives? Are they adding value to your life? They learned 3 good lessons about relationships throughout this study. And y'all, I must say the study is still ongoing. It hasn't stopped. So they're still learning. But from the 75 years that it's been ongoing, so far they've learned 3 good lessons about relationships. The first one is social connections are really good for us and that loneliness kills. Good connected people live longer than those less connected to others. Isolated people experience less happiness. Health declines earlier in midlife. Brain function declines significantly sooner, and they live shorter lives. This is for the isolated people. This is the things they experience. Less happiness, a decline in health earlier in midlife. Brain function declines significantly sooner, meaning memory loss, dementia, possibility of Alzheimer's, and they live shorter lives. Are you isolated today? Are you lonely? You know, in Genesis chapter 2, when God placed Adam in the garden, and Adam named all the animals. All the animals had mates. God said, it is not good for man to be alone. See, everything else God created. He said, it is good. It is good. It is good. But when he placed Adam in that garden, even when he created Adam, he said, it is good. But when he placed Adam in that garden, and he saw Adam alone, when all other creation had a mate, he said, it is not good for a man to be alone. So you see, we, from the very beginning, were created to be connected with others. Paul reminds us of this in the New Testament when he says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. We are created to be connected to others, to bring value to the lives of others, to receive value recognized in us from those that we are in relationship with. The second lesson that was learned here is it is not just the number of friends that you have. It's not whether or not you're in a committed relationship, but it is the quality of your close relationships that matters. Living in the midst of conflict is very bad for our health. But living in the midst of good, warm relationships is protective. The people who were the most satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were the healthiest at age 80. And good, close relationships seem to buffer us from the slings and arrows of getting old. The most happily partnered men and women reported in their 80s that on days they had the most physical pain, their moods stayed just as happy. But the people who were in unhappy relationships on the days when they had the most pain, when they reported more physical pain. Their pain was even worse because it was magnified by emotional pain. Now, I've got a good friend that we've been connected for years. We've been friends since teenage years. And she's been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And in years of talking with her and encouraging her and speaking life into her, asking questions and listening intently, we figured out the more stressed she is, the higher and worse her flare-ups of fibromyalgia, the more pain she experiences. Excuse me. So having said that, that confirms what is being taught here through this study. Let me read it again. The most happily partnered men and women reported in their 80s that on days they had the most physical pain, their mood stayed just as happy. But the people who were in unhappy relationships, on the days when they reported more physical pain, it was magnified by more emotional pain. Excuse me, y'all. The third lesson that was brought out through this study was that good relationships don't just protect our bodies, they protect our brains. Being in a securely attached relationship to another person in your 80s is protective. Now you might be saying, I'm not 80 yet. No, you're not 80 yet, but one day you're going to be. Why not start now? People in relationships that they feel cannot count on others, or those people that, they're just isolated and alone because they don't trust well, those people experience earlier memory decline. You start seeing the earlier signs of dementia, possible signs of Alzheimer's. Their brains haven't been protected. So over these 75 years, the ones who fared the best leaned into those close relationships. They leaned into those close relationships. Science, through a study at Harvard, proves God's word. It is not good for a man to be alone. Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. Get into those good relationships. And you may say, how? I don't know how. I'm here. Send me a private message. Because listen, your mental health, your mindset is just as important to me as a health coach as your physical health. But I'm even going to go a step further. Many of you may not know, I am the women's minister at Calvary Chapel in Leesville. Therefore, your spiritual health is just as important to me as your emotional, mental, physical. And I invite you, come with me on this journey to health. You'll not regret it. You won't. It's well worth it. So, hey guys, thank you all for watching. I've got so many on here and I didn't name everybody. Scared to try to name everybody because I have to scroll up and down and I'm afraid I might miss somebody. But thank you. Thank you so much for watching today's live. Share it. Share the replays with your friends. And let them know. Excuse my dogs barking in the background. But let them know. Regina's here. She desires to have that connection with you. To speak life into you. To recognize your value. And to help you move forward in your healthy lifestyle. So until next time, God bless you. Thank you for being with me.